Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Attention all farmers, are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and Iricor brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafuajinkwa and the Iricor with cocoa blends, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and Iricop organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by Cocoa Board, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Good afternoon and welcome to Newsbeat here on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Ekia Ababio. Many thanks for choosing to spend your time with us on this holiday. Remember, the bulletin is live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana. We're also live on DSTV channel 277. Now, the Interior Ministry has denied issuing directives or protocols allowing any groups or individuals to bypass security checks. This follows misinformation circulating on social media claiming certain individuals, including pastors, had been granted special privileges to circumvent security procedures. A statement issued by the Public Affairs and Communications Unit of the Ministry said these claims are baseless, entirely false, and should be disregarded immediately. The ministry emphasized its commitment to maintaining nationwide peace and security, ensuring equal protection for all citizens without discrimination. It also warned against the misuse of its name for criminal activities or spreading false information which undermined national security. Now, the statement highlighted the ministry's emphasis on security protocols, stating, "We urge the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities to the authorities," quote and unquote. It urged social media users and the public to verify information through official channels before sharing it to prevent misinformation. The ministry reaffirmed its commitment to transparency and pledged to provide accurate updates on its operations and policies. Now, joining us on the phone lines is security consultant Richard Kumado. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us. Now, first of all, what do you make of this declaration by the Interior Ministry?
I think it is a known knowledge that sirens have become common in our country, and all manner of persons have can rent, dispatch riders. And to that extent, everybody who has access to such facilities can abuse it. If you travel across our airport, you can see people abusing the privileges granted them. And I believe it is one of the major reasons why the Foreign Ministry is calling for all diplomatic passports to be returned so it can be regularized. It is the same vein that the Minister of Interior is saying that no specific group of people have such privileges. Sometimes you travel across the country and you can see traditional rulers, you can see the clergy, you can see some individuals in this country who are definitely abusing the siren system, and they have rented dispatch riders, creating all manner of problems for officers of the road to search them or to even ensure that they abide by the rules. I think the abuse is what has gotten to the Interior Minister, and he's making an attempt to regularize it. But it is a known fact that some people have taken the law into their own hands, and they do all manner of things in the name of privileges and the groups they belong to.
But how worrying is it to grant security access to persons like pastors and people who are deemed to be important in the society?
There's something we call security clearance. We have not operationalized it properly, and we have not been effective in granting access in line with security clearance of certain individuals in this country. And so the nature of it is that people have the tendency of abusing it, particularly people of certain category of this country. They have a pattern of abusing everything you put at their disposal. We will need to look at our security clearances again. We will need to enhance the due diligence process, and we will need to properly classify and categorize the nature of privileges we assign to which group of people. Until we are able to do that, considering the fact that some people can't get closer to politicians, they will use those channels and those platforms to abuse all the security channels and all the security clearance avenues we have in this country. And I think that is something we need to work at as a nation.
Right, but how dangerous or safe is it to use the security protocols by pastors and other big men in the country who are not necessarily government officials?
If care is not taken and it is not regularized, they pose a threat. The nature of the threat they pose is that they could serve as a conduit for all manner of sexual crimes at the blind side of the law enforcement officers. People can also use the same avenue and access and create an identity crisis for law enforcement officers or for the holders of those special privileges. And I think as a nation, that space has been abused for a very long time. And once we do something about it, let's ensure that going forward, we streamline those processes. It is bad, it is uncalled for, and it is not properly managed in many aspects. And I will agree with the minister that there's a need to streamline it and ensure that those who access those privileges are people who are noted and people whose activities can be monitored, and where there are issues of discrepancies or breaches, they can be sanctioned appropriately.
Well, thank you very much. We're grateful for your time. And Richard Kumado is a security analyst. But away from that, 3 persons have sustained severe injuries following a violent clash between 2 Muslim youth groups during an Eid al-Fitr street carnival at Kaswa in the Awutu Senya East municipality of the Central Region. The victims are currently receiving treatment at the Kaswa Polyclinic, and reports indicate that the altercation, which occurred on Monday evening, stemmed from unresolved tensions between the 2 groups. 1 person has since been arrested in connection with the violence and is currently being detained at the Kaswa Central Business District Police Station. Upon his arrest, the police retrieved a hammer and other offensive weapons from him. Now let's take you to the Ashanti region, where traders at the Edum Blue Light Market in Kumasi, whose structures were recently demolished by city authorities, are demanding compensation. The traders now stranded are intensifying their calls on the Ashanti Region Minister for answers, describing the demolition as sudden and unjust.
March 21, 2025, a massive fire outbreak at a dome located in the heart of the central business district of Kumasi in the Ashanti region left several shops and properties destroyed. The inferno intensified rapidly due to the highly combustible materials stored in many of the shops, making it difficult for firefighters to contain the situation immediately, leading to significant losses. Following the incident, the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council began demolishing some structures following advice from the Ministerial Palace to create access routes for emergency vehicles. Some traders who are against the exercise argue that such unilateral actions have left them in a state of uncertainty, putting the livelihoods of their members at risk.
The Urubama Bon was a so. I arrange you. Yanni was pumping for crackers as a moment boy. He say home. Yanni Yankas and Kayan to Fruquamo. Yes, some more. They arrange your home. Yanga Predo. No, be a baby, sir. Man, I am 2 weeks ago. What is that about you? What do you need now? How much? And a Musia. What said that? What send your man? What any animal penny for no more? Yapa Panomono, and then an animal. If you need compensation. Oh, my said, you know, it's better than your 20.
Right, some traders expressing their grievances and hoping that the Ashanti Regional Minister will address their concerns. But away from that, environmental activist and coordinator for eco-conscious citizens, Ulasewa, has called on President John Mahama to completely revoke LI 2462, which permits mining in forest reserves. She argues that amending the law rather than revoking it will continue to enable environmental destruction. She made these remarks at the Coalition Awards night in Accra.
Destruction of Ghana's water, forest reserves and natural environment to illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, is alarming and threatening to human lives and other species, despite a number of national efforts in addressing the menace. Many civil society organizations and environmental advocates have consistently waged war against galamsey and intensify awareness on the need to protect forest reserves and the natural environment. During the Coalition Awards night by the Ghana environmental activist, Aulasewa says amendment of LI 2462 defeats government's quest in fighting illegal mining.
In the past, you could mine in 2% of production forest reserves, but now with the LI, it's sort of unfettered access. Also, it has sort of tried to remove the protections that the Forestry Commission gave, and rather what they want to do is give it all to the EPA. But as you know, it's the Forestry Commission which is mandated to protect our forests, not the Environmental Protection Agency. So what it is that we thought this legislation was perverse.
Investigative and environmental journalist Erastus Asaridonko says lack of political will is eroding the efforts in the fight against the menace.
We are having heavy metals penetrating into cocoa beans. Our cocoa beans are being rejected from abroad because of these things. Many farmers are selling their cocoa farms so that we can clear them and use them for gold. And so we have to stand up. We are the people, we own the land, we are affected. We have to force the arm of government to do the right thing.
The coalition is an interdisciplinary alliance of local organizations and individuals where distinguished men and women who have worked hard in the fight against illegal mining were recognized.
Protest, and we invite all startups, all creatives, everyone to use the thing that they know how to do best to protest. Some of us will be on the streets, but some of us will make music. Some of us will use fashion. Some of us will use AI to protest. But let's all do something about galamsey. We do not.
Now, away from the fight against illegal mining, Chief Executive Officer of Phytorika Gihok Pharmaceuticals Limited, NSOPOKU, has called on the government to address high costs in production, weak regulatory frameworks, and other key challenges facing the pharmaceutical industry. He was speaking at an event held in partnership with Zoom Lion Ghana Limited in Accra to celebrate Ghana Month.
Gihok Pharmaceuticals Limited, PRG, produces a wide range of essential drugs required for usage in the entire West Africa sub-region and beyond. Leading brands of the company include Zeus, Cipromax, among others. As part of the Ghana Month celebration, PRG organized an event dedicated to promote the Ghanaian heritage and culture in collaboration with Zoom Lion Ghana Limited. The event featured activities such as cooking competition, traditional games, and display of Ghanaian cultural dance. Participants from the various departments of PRG shared their excitement.
It's been joyful, it's been fun, and then also I've been able to see a lot of cultures being represented here. It's also been a very educative.
It's been very interesting. We've seen different types of culture from the Akans, northern part. Some of our friends, we didn't even know where they are coming from. But looking at the addresses, we've seen that they are part of us. We are all one people.
Sitting on the sidelines of the event, CEO of Phytorika Gihok Pharmaceuticals Limited, NSOPOKU, highlighted the major challenges in the pharmaceutical industry.
Our biggest challenge has to do with regulatory limitations. So sometimes I will use a material like glycerin, for instance. When we import, glycerin is a major ingredient, it's a major excipient if you want to produce any cough mixture. And due to regulatory restrictions, sometimes when you import the product into the material into the country, it will take you about 2 weeks for the regulator to assess the potency of the material before they are released to you. So sort of it delays our production process.
He also called on the government to take immediate action.
Some of the challenges we also face has to do with taxes on our equipment. There are high taxes when we import equipment. So if government can also look at this to really help us to be able to trade very well.
As part of efforts to promote environmental hygiene, Zoom Lion Ghana Limited partnered with PRG to provide efficient waste segregation service during the event.
This year, we aim to collaborate with Pharmaceutical to segregate their waste so that we can add value. We don't just pick the waste, we make sure that we recycle them to add value to the institutions. Zoom Lion Private Services, we do it well, we do it Pharmaceutical, and we ensure that we add value.
The Ghana Month celebration event was held under the theme, Nourish and Adorn Ghana.
Away from that, students have been urged to collaborate with industry players to with practical skills and knowledge, helping to bridge the gap between academia and industry. The advice was given at the graduation ceremony of Ghana Christian University College in Accra.
Over the years, Ghana's educational system has come under criticism, where many have raised concerns about the relevance of knowledge obtained and how they are applicable to industry practices. Despite the criticisms, others strongly hold the opinion that it gives a better and strong foundation for the attainment of higher education. The 14th matriculation and 16th congregation of the Ghana Christian University College, which was under the theme Inculcating Industrial Skills in Academia, Key to Nation Building, witnessed a total of over 350 students matriculated to study various courses, while 180 have graduated with certificates in public health, nursing, among others. Speaking on the sidelines, CEO for Telecel, Patricia Obonai, urged the graduating class to uphold the highest standard of integrity at their workplaces.
The world of work is also changing. We should have academia work with industry to look at the curriculum, they must also have ready for work programs so that by the time the students are leaving school, they know how to get themselves into the workplace. It's a smoother transition for them. I think it's also important that industry and academia partner in projects. So these projects then become like training grounds for the students. And so by the time they are coming into the workplace, they have the basic skills that they need.
President for Ghana Christian University College, Dr. James Yamwa, lamented the numerous challenges impeding academic excellence and called for support.
We need to expand our infrastructural base to accommodate all the programs that we are bringing in. Rats of our mentoring institutions require us to get a certain quality of lecturers, right? And so the quality of lecturers now come with financial responsibility.
Some graduates expressed their joy for a successful completion and pledged to apply knowledge gained to the betterment of humanity.
I'm so passionate about empowering communities and individuals to improve upon their health, and I'm also passionate about maternal health. So I'm going to look at maternal health, and I'm so concerned about malaria and typhoid during pregnancy or in pregnancy. So as time goes on, I'll work on it, and I pray that our labs at the hospitals have been equipped so that as we test pregnant women for malaria, we can also test them for typhoid.
Graduates were conferred various academic degrees, distinguished students and teaching staff received awards in recognition of their efforts.
And now on our sanitation campaign dubbed #TidyGH, a 2023 Assembly member aspirant for Malam East, Shadrach Amate Ama, has urged the government to strictly enforce sanitation laws to improve Ghana's hygiene conditions. Speaking at a pre-Salah cleanup exercise, he emphasized the need for citizens to support the Operation Clean Your Frontage initiative and called for stricter waste management enforcement.
Ghana continues to grapple with sanitation challenges with indiscriminate waste disposal, choked drains and poor hygiene practices affecting communities nationwide. Despite various government initiatives including the Operation Clean Your Frontage campaign, many areas still struggle with filth. Addressing these issues requires not only policies but also strict enforcement of bylaws and public participation. It is against this backdrop that Shadrach Amate Ama, a 2023 Assembly member aspirant for the Malam East electoral area, has called on the government to fully implement sanitation and hygiene laws to curb the country's worsening sanitation problems.
I will urge the government to bring in these policies that will help in terms of Operation Clean Your Frontage. We know that this Operation Clean Your Frontage is there, but it's not well implemented for people to make sure that they can put in more effort to do that. So I want the government themselves to make sure that they are going to make enforcement.
The cleanup exercise, which brought together residents, local organizations and sanitation workers, was organized by the Young Progressive Network in collaboration with street and city cleaners. Participants swept streets, desilted drains and removed waste from public spaces in an effort to promote a cleaner environment ahead of the Sanla celebrations. Speaking to journalists during a pre-Sanla cleanup exercise organized in his electoral area, Ama emphasized that enforcing existing sanitation regulations would go a long way in improving hygiene and keeping communities clean.
So I will urge the government to make sure that they emphasize more on this sanitation aspect and then make sure that we do clean our electoral area.
He urged citizens to take responsibility for their surroundings and fully support the Operation Clean Your Frontage initiative.
Still on our TidyGH segment, a team from the Jospon Group of companies has undertaken a knowledge transfer program in Austria focused on waste-to-energy solutions and the National Apprenticeship Program aimed at facilitating skill-based capacity building and training. The team, which comprised researchers, circular economy experts, and learning and development professionals, conducted a study tour of major recycling plants producing refuse-derived fuel, RDF, that meets the required standards for energy generation and as a substitute for fossil fuels.
System receive 80% hands-on training within companies and 20% vocational school instruction. Hosted by the Austrian Chamber of Commerce, the team engaged in discussions on the framework guiding Austria's national apprenticeship program. Thomas Reichenbach, education advisor at the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber, explained that the apprenticeship model is designed to equip young people with the necessary skills for employment and career progression. The head of Jospon Academy and leader of the delegation, retired Brigadier General Mike Apachu, in an interview, described the study tour as highly insightful. He said the Jospon Group, as one of the largest employer of Ghanaian youth, has gained valuable knowledge on apprenticeship as a tool for skill development. He gave the assurance of the readiness of the Jospon Group to contributing inputs into Ghana's National Apprenticeship Program. Project manager for the West Academy projects funded by the Austrian Development Agency ADA and Comtech GmbH, Jacob Ladi, emphasized that the study tour was a crucial component of the broader initiative. He said the research is expected to provide a blueprint for the implementation of waste-to-energy solutions in Ghana and across Africa. Ladi expressed deep appreciation to the Austrian government for its support and reiterated his confidence that by the end of the project in 2027, all key deliverables will be successfully achieved. A communications officer of Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, James Deco, emphasized Jospon Group's commitment to sustainable waste management and green job creation. The Jospon Comtech Waste Academy initiative is a knowledge transfer program aimed at enhancing capacity in waste management. The program, which was launched last year in Ghana, is funded by the Austrian Development Agency and Comtech GmbH.
Now, away from Sanitation, Titans and Trailblazers is the new installment in Metro TV's range of inspiring educational content. The show is hosted by Professor Robert Ebohensen with a focus on high-profile achievers such as thought leaders, corporate leaders, and social entrepreneurs who are impacting the African socio-economic landscape. The show airs every Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. and is live on Facebook and YouTube. We are joined by the host of the show, Professor Robert Ebohensen, to tell us more. Good afternoon to you, Prof. Thank you for your time. Kindly tell us more about the show and what exactly is it hoping to achieve?
Front desk executive in a hotel, you need to understand this. On this auspicious platform of yours, Titans and Trailblazers is a bold new intervention that is supposed to honor innovators, game changers, trailblazers, and people who have a story that can inspire the next generation. You know, Africa is a continent that is youth-led. We live in a generative AI age. We have Generation Alpha, Generation this, Generation that. So we are trying to get people who are young, who are a little older, who are well advanced, but all of whom have a conspicuous story to tell. So, for instance, we've spoken to the Secretary General of the Africa Marketing Confederation, David Balikudembe, who is Ugandan. He's come on the show to explain the absolute importance of having a plan for your life as youth. He's explained why marketing is an absolute game changer for the African continent. He's explained why people must come in August to the next Africa Marketing Confederation Conference that is built to happen in Accra. So by the time we finish that first episode, you can learn key lessons about the importance of marketing for African continental development, sub-regional development, country development, firm development, and even for you as an individual in marketing yourself into success. The second show featured Dr. Nate, who is from the AH Hotel. AH Hotel is one of the trailblazers when it comes to the delivery of hospitality services today. But he shared his cross-continental experience working in Abuja, in Accra, his leadership ethos. So we had so much to learn from him when he came on the show. Tomorrow we have two excellent professors from the Durban University of Technology. They are speaking about the Africa we want and the Africa we should claim. Now, their discussion came on the back of a public lecture they delivered 2 weeks ago at the Ghana Communication Technology University. Right. They speak about the importance of history, what the youth should do to take hold of the future. They speak about the fact that for a university student today, knowledge is not enough, you need skills. So they sort of explain to you how to translate the knowledge you learn into a skill set that makes you go and start your own business and not necessarily wait to be employed by somebody else. But let me tell you one of the coolest parts of the show. Right. At the beginning of every episode, I profile a book I've written or edited from the past. So we've seen books around customer service essentials, health service marketing, hospitality and tourism marketing, books on marketing communications, books on how to start an entrepreneurial business. So, madam, this is a full package. At the beginning, I showed you what to do with your life from a book I've edited or written. Then we wrap it up with a titan or a trailblazer that tells you what you can do in order to live a better life. You have to tune in.
Is the inspiration behind the selected guests?
The inspiration behind the selected guests is that you must fulfill one or two requirements. You must either be a trailblazer in something you're doing in life, or be a recognized titan or capo or chief or leader in a certain field you are in. So tomorrow, for instance, one of the people I'm hosting is the executive dean of the Faculty of Humanities at the Durban University of Technology, and the second one is an executive dean of the Faculty of Accounting and Informatics at the Durban University of Technology. Now, this university has graduated several lecturers in Ghana from places like the Takrady Technical University. There are 10 Ghana GCTU staff doing PhDs there. They've worked across Africa. They've worked in different places. So they are at the forefront of telling you what to do with your life as you come through the university, so you take the next step to become a trailblazer yourself. So you must either be an established titan in your field of endeavor or be a trailblazer and doing something new that brings value to the continent of Africa.
Right, thank you very much for your time. And Professor Robert Ebo-Henson is the host of Titans and Trailblazers. Well, that's how we wrap up on the bulletin. My name is Sekia Ababio. We take a break. When we return, Akwasia Friye will continue with the rest of the program.
Have you considered how to make money with blockchain and all of these issues? There are too many people who have heard about this and don't understand what it is and want to know. People have told us about how they have invested and made lots of profits and so on and so forth. This afternoon, we want to delve into that, and that's the beginning of the show for the afternoon. We want to delve into that and see what exactly is it. Maybe if we have some more questions, we'll ask them. And I have two gentlemen right here with me in the studio to discuss that. Let me begin with the man on my left. Kwame Stalwart is the convener, Blockchain Builders Association of Ghana. I hope I'm right, Kwame.
Yes, you are.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us. And then we have Eric Annan is the Chief Executive Officer, Aya HQ, and I got that right as well. So good afternoon, thank you very much for joining me, gentlemen. But let me begin with you, Kwame, or let me begin with you. You are the convener. Sure. You are the convener. I'll begin with you to ask what exactly all of this is about.
Yeah, so thank you very much. When it comes to blockchain, the internet that we are using has experienced several iterations. And then we have what we call Web 1, which was there before. That's in the early 2000s. Currently, the internet that we are using, we call that Web 2. And then blockchain technology is also known as Web 3. So blockchain technology is the next era of the internet. We call that the Internet of Value. So just to start from the beginning, Web 1, for example, Facebook. When Facebook started, it was just a read-only static page. So that was Web 1. And now I can send messages and then view someone's post, call the person on Facebook. So that's Web 2, read and then write only. In Web 3...
Web 1 is just the access.
Yes, so with that, you just see the post is a static website.
Okay.
So that was like the first iteration of the internet. Then you come to Web 2, for example, Facebook, Instagram, and then these other sites that we see, where I can watch, I can read, and I can also write.
Make calls. The videos and the
make calls. It's interactive.
Yes,
so that's
interactive.
the interactive web,
Right.
just like we are seeing now. Then we have Web 3, where whatever I post, I can actually read, I can write, I can own, and also transfer value over borders. So I can own whatever I put there, I can read, I can write, and also if I want to transfer value to any part of the world, I can actually do that.
So you have, in fact, my producer has just put on for me what Web 3 is, but I think we should get back to that. She has some details of what we are talking about. Let's see it maybe briefly on the screen, and then we'll come back to your proper explanations. Let me see if I can try and read this. It says the blockchain, the global tech gold mine. And I would want you to explain when we come back why you say it's the gold mine. I've been monitoring Elon Musk's space, and he's been writing about some of these things all the time. But you would have to explain to us, and when I come to you, please do me the honors. Why you think it is a gold mine? An extract from Aya HQ. Well, so this is from you. You are telling us the lessons and opportunities. You say around the world, nations are unlocking the potential of blockchain. Singapore, Dubai, and Switzerland have positioned themselves as hubs by implementing forward-thinking policies, attracting global talent, and fostering innovation. Now, Africa cannot afford to sit on the sidelines, but Ghana must not only participate, we must differentiate. And you will explain to us what do you mean by that. Now, Ghana, ranking among the top African nations with a 90% crypto. Well, so what we have heard too much about is a cryptocurrency, and even what the Bank of Ghana had wanted to maybe either regulate or give us an e-currency. I remember that as well. Maybe you are the expert. You may want to explain that to us when we come to that. So please note the points for me because I am reading. Then you will be able to. The e-currency Bank of Ghana wanted to introduce. What's the level with that? So Ghana ranking among the top African nations with a 90% crypto transaction pass rate is well positioned to capitalize on this trend. Now, our unique strengths, Africa's most stable democracy, a country with a peaceful and structured rule of law, a welcoming environment for investment, and an open door policy for Africans and global entrepreneurs give us an unparalleled opportunity to position Ghana as the most attractive and trusted hub for blockchain, digital assets, special economic zones, robust network state, and crypto-like bank to warehouse both global and African blockchain startups. So this is very loaded. Do we have some more? Maybe in the discussion we'll specifically come back to this slide. But do we have some more? If we can go to the next one. Yes, please, let's go to the next one. And this is where you ask the question about what the Web3 is. So I'll begin that with you, as you have explained to us what the Web 1 is, Web 2, and then now what it is. So please move ahead, because we'll give him this slide, and then he will go ahead to explain to us. According to a Binance and Pulse survey, Ghana is already at the forefront of cryptocurrency and blockchain adoption on the continent, demonstrating a deep understanding of their benefits, use cases, and potential. In fact, Ghana ranked 9th out of 27 countries in crypto adoption, with over 900,000 Ghanaians, approximately 3.01% of the population owning cryptocurrency. Owning. The organic demand for the digital assets is undeniable. So let's see the other slides. Now, this framework is not just about technology. It is about Ghana's future prosperity. It is anchored on 7 key areas. 1, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, empowering startups, researchers, and developers to build blockchain-based solutions that solve real-world challenges. That's the 7 pillars. Please go back. Go back for me. The 7 pillars of Ghana's blockchain and digital asset future. Let's come back to studio. In the discussions, we'll bring this back, producer, and we'll look at each of these points one by one, the 7 pillars, and how we are going to, rally around it and be able to contribute to the progress of the economy. So we'll come back to this, but let me come back to you. The Web 3, you're on that point. You just expand that for us. First one is just to be able to see the post. That's what you call the Web 1. Second one is to be able to do the video calls, the interaction. And then you say the Web 3 is a transfer of value to the owner. Please do explain that to me. And if we can have that slide also on screen.
Okay, so I've tagged on Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. So let me mainly focus on Web 3. So let's take it that you are a school teacher, and then you are writing lesson notes. And then with that particular lesson notes, all the teachers in the school have access to a copy of that lesson note. Once they have access to the same copy, which is open and decentralized, if I am a teacher and I want to kind of edit whatever I have in mind, the rest that the ones have, the rest of the lesson notes will actually prove that, no, this was the original thing that has been copied in the lesson notes. So that brings us to blockchain. Blockchain is an open network, it's a decentralized network, and it's simply, whenever we talk about blockchain technology, don't think about any new thing, any humongous technology. It just means a distributed ledger. A ledger is simply a book for recording transactions. So with blockchain, you record transactions on the chain, so we call it on-chain. And these days, we say, I'm going online, I'm going online. We have actually moved from going online to going on-chain. So most young people in Ghana now, most of the people in our communities, you hear them saying on-chain because they're actually working on the blockchain or making sure that whatever they are doing is put on the blockchain. So it's simply a decentralized and distributed ledger where no single person has access to that information, but it's distributed on computers all around the world. So that makes it very open, very secure. And this can be applied in other aspects of the economy. When it comes to agriculture, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to fintech, any other field that you want to know, blockchain is simply the internet of value that helps to keep records. And those records are immutable. So it's very difficult for someone to go back and then edit that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So are you telling me we are all using blockchain now, or what's the? Am I getting confused?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here and have this conversation. So for us at the Blockchain Bureau Association of Ghana, so a bit sidetrack. Blockchain started way back in 2008, and I remember I was a student then, where we all heard of the financial meltdown. Back in 2008.
Yes, I am the global economic recession. Yes, I remember clearly.
That was what kind of triggered a person, a group of people, we don't know who they were, with a name called Satoshi, to kind of come out with a white paper called the Bitcoin white paper. And that will give birth to what today is a global phenomenon. Now, Bitcoin was the first decentralized currency created by Satoshi and his group. We don't know who that person is. And so, after almost 15 years now, the world is not just talking about Bitcoin. Other innovation has kind of come up. And today, the blockchain has gone beyond Bitcoin. We have more than 300 different cryptocurrencies today. It's just 1% of what for example, Facebook, Meta, Twitter, they are all not internet. They are fields running on the internet. So if you say Facebook is internet, that's not correct. The internet is a layer, it's an infrastructure that powers all these products. So the blockchain is a product that powers cryptocurrency. Fortunately, most of us, because we are not going deeper, the more you hear blockchain, you conclude it's cryptocurrency.
So please take your time.
Yes.
Like he explained. Yeah. Blockchain itself is not the cryptocurrency that we know.
No.
That people think we are going to invest and make money. No. And when the rate goes up, we make some money. More like an investment, like buying the treasury bill. That's what we have known of the cryptocurrency. And so when we hear the blockchain, we tend to think like that. That if I convert maybe 100,000 cedis into crypto, and the currency goes up or the rate goes up, maybe next year, by 1,000%, I'm going to make that amount of money and withdraw and be able to do business. And that's how lots of people understand it. But now, you're saying blockchain is not crypto.
All right. Blockchain is never crypto.
How?
Blockchain is the infrastructure, the underlying infrastructure.
That crypto rides on.
That crypto rides on.
So like we have the internet space that if you need to get onto Facebook, maybe in your house or in the office, you need to first of all get onto the internet or the web, and then you're able to do Facebook. Yes. You're able to do Instagram. Yes. You are now saying that blockchain is a platform where if you want to use any of the cryptocurrency platforms, you have to get onto blockchain first. So that's how what you were explaining as a business setup, that it's of value where people can utilize. Is that, am I getting it clear?
Absolutely.
Please go on. Please go on.
So what we have observed in the last 10 years is that we've seen a rising desire, interest across the world, not only Ghana. And we have been to different communities, different areas of the world, and we've seen that, wait a minute, for the first time, we have a technology that can actually help Africa define the next 100 years our economic factors, factors of production, and change the way we are building our economies across the continent. I'll give a typical example. If you're born in Africa, for example, you are born in Ghana, you are born into a system that was built not for you alone. So you have a Ghanaian currency, which is the cedi. We have 54 countries in Africa. The cedi never communicates to the CFA, which is Togo and Benin and the Cote d'Ivoire. If you have Nigeria, which has the Naira never communicates to the cedi. But if you're born in America, it doesn't matter which state, 50 states, it doesn't matter which state you are.
It's the dollar you use.
Exactly. So as an African, you are already disenfranchised financially.
But we tried to introduce an ECOWAS currency.
Well, we'll get there.
We tried some time back. It's still in space anyway.
Exactly.
Currently, we have AFTA, the African Free Trade Area. They should be pushing this agenda.
So for us, blockchain is, for me, I argue that blockchain is a technology for Africa. Those who invented blockchain, they didn't know that it was going to help Africa more than themselves. And now we have seen that we need blockchain more than the West.
But why do we need it?
That's a great question. The reason why we need it, for the first time in the history of our continent, after 60 years of independence across the continent, we've never interacted. So let's say I'm in Ghana. I'm not able to interact with somebody in Kenya. So say, let's say I have a friend in Kenya. He or he is desperately needs some support. I cannot send money straight away. But it's not so for European. It's not so for a North American. Why shouldn't it be possible for us? Another example, we have paper, which is an amazing financial innovation. If you're in Ghana, you are disenfranchised from using paper because of where you are.
Yes, the location.
Exactly. But I think the financial asset is a fundamental human right. And blockchain provides that access to us. Why? Because on the blockchain, for example, you're able to transact with anybody anywhere in the world freely.
Because it is internet-based?
It is decentralized.
Blockchain-based.
It's open to everybody. You don't need, there's no gatekeeping. like what we have in today, in the normal financial system that we have. There's gatekeeping. I mean, you have from Africa, there's some platform you can never access in your lifetime. Today, blockchain has given 1.4 billion people, 54 countries, one equal global access that you are not disenfranchised.
But are we that conscious of what you're telling us? As you are the association, so you should be doing the advocacy. And of course, you are the institution. Are we that conscious, maybe as Africans, as a country, as a continent, as a subcontinent, to use these platforms to be able to, I mean, I like the inscription, build borderless. We are talking about, I just cited after, borderless continent where I can sit here and do a business and have a market and get some Nigerians to buy without coming to Ghana. Get some people from South Africa to buy. Do the transaction online. I'm sure that's what you are telling me now. Are you advocating enough? Do people know?
Yeah, so I think that is the reason why we have started with this series of media engagement, to make sure that we shape the narrative in Ghana. So as you mentioned earlier, most people hear about blockchain, and the only thing that they know is cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, which they see as a scam. But then the technology goes way beyond that. So now we have started with a series of media engagements, and the media, you are our development and then our advocacy partners, so that we push the education out there, and then we let young Ghanaians know, not just young Ghanaians, but every Ghanaian know that this is a technology that can revolutionize whatever we are doing here. And you can even be in Ghana. There are job opportunities in blockchain technology, which I'll touch on later.
Right.
We have young Ghanaians who are actually making it just by sitting in the comfort of their home with electricity and internet connection, and making like lots of money with legit blockchain jobs. So this is the reason why we are doing some of these things, to push it out there, to get Ghanaians to know that, yes, there is this technology. Because if we decide to lay back and then not care about it, those who have actually, I'll start with our parents. When the internet came, they couldn't make good use of it. I don't blame them, because at that time they didn't have access to the phones, the smartphones and others. But now we, the young people, we have access to these things. Are we going to watch on while this thing just slips by our fingers, and then we end up blaming government again?
I remember my first computer, Pentium 2, laptop, and my father would always take it and hide it under the bed, that I should go and study my books, and the computer itself would be there at the time. Anyway, so let me come back to you. There is the issue of security. You mentioned fraud. People think that when you talk about blockchain, you're finding ways and means to dupe people, and the cases on the internet now and all of those issues are problematic. I mean, how secure is this?
Yeah, thanks for that narrative. So, blockchain is arguably the most secured infrastructure today in the world. Just as today you have Metro TV, security is personal. I always say security is personal. Number one is personal before the group. But blockchain as an infrastructure that has been built, you do not have one central point of failure. Or the Web2 that we have today, we have huge corporations. We call them the Big Four, Big Six, in Silicon Valley, that controls your data, my data, and everyone's data, running on virtual servers. What happens is that when there's a hack, it is one source that everybody targets. But with the blockchain technology, it is so decentralized that if you can hack my personal maybe wallet, but you cannot just hit the entire world. Imagine 1 billion people having computer in the world running decentralization. It's difficult for you to. So when it comes to the security of blockchain, it's most secured infrastructure we have today. But let me just point it out. We are here this afternoon to really begin to open up a conversation about the welfare, the future of young people. According to the last census that we did in 2020, at least 60% of our population is under the age of 30. By the end of this century, the African continent will have a population that 3 out of 5 will be someone like me in the world. We have the youngest population in the world, and we are the most significant market today in the world. And this data is not something that we should just look. We cannot use the same means of building economy that we have done the last 60 years to advance the next 60 years. So our call is that blockchain provide Africa a unique opportunity. We don't need to wait for example, World Bank, UN to kind of have a framework before we adapt. Ghana is a sovereign country. Africa as a continent, we are sovereign individually. Africa need to have a plan. We need to be intentional this time around, and we need to be deliberate about this innovation. For example, I'll give a typical example again. If you look at America, for example, there's a president called Donald Trump today. He's a 100% crypto guy. And his actions in the last 4 or 5 months is giving a kind of direction for crypto in the world. And America has one company called Coinbase. Some of you who doesn't know, for you to know that blockchain is not cryptocurrency, Coinbase is the first in the world to build a crypto exchange that is listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. It's globally traded. It's billions of dollars in value. What I'm trying to say is that America as a country today is pushing for blockchain and then even issuing that they are going to have their reserve in Bitcoin. Most of their reserve in Bitcoin, which is being pushed. My point is that the Blockchain Association of Ghana, our core is that for the last 10 years, we've not seen this country, from the executive side, the legislative side, the judicial side.
I like the fact that because I've just written down the issue about regulation and then your collaboration with the executive side, the Minister of Finance, they spread the budget. And did you get the opportunity to make any input into it at all? And what's your plan? Are you just coming to Metro TV? Of course, when we say it here, they would get along. But have you made any efforts? The executive side, the regulation side, and to make sure that the country is consciously having a concerted effort to participate in the blockchain?
Yeah, so a journey of 1,000 must start with the first step. The first step was last year. This association has been there for the last 3 years. All we do is that we have been quiet, empower young people. In fact, we train more than 300 people, young people that they are all working remotely. Our journey has been simple, and we have been pushing for advocacy. Last year, before the election, we actually put up a paper that challenged all the political parties to have a case on their manifesto. We didn't see anything happen that way. And we have seen the budget being read. Our position is that Ghana is desperately in need of solution, bold and broader solution for young people to have opportunity. We need job creation. Blockchain provides a unique opportunity for us to train more than 1 million young people to have a skill set needed for the global world. There's a demand for blockchain developers. There's a demand for blockchain innovators. And Ghana is positioned. We have the most enviable democracy. And one of the benefits when I was doing university, one of my business classes, it says that investment, one of the anchors is stable democracy. For the last 32 years, we've practiced democracy, most stable. It's time for the ordinary Ghanaian to benefit from the benefit and the fruit of stable democracy, to actually incentivize outside investors to invest. I'll tell you something. There's a country called El Salvador. The president is leading the charge. There's a country called Argentina. The entire executive is leading the charge. And the last 3 years...
You mentioned Singapore as well.
Singapore. I'm just mentioning Argentina, El Salvador, because they're also developing countries.
Right.
Singapore is the first country. So to me, like, Singapore is already there. No, let's use a country that look like Ghana. Argentina look like Ghana. They're also not too well in terms of their inflation. The president, in the last 3 years, the president made a position. The body language of the president, the executive, the legislature is so positive. As I speak to you, the global blockchain companies, protocols, are investing millions of dollars into the Argentina economy. Our call is that we need to have a plan for Ghana. Because Ghana has all the boxes ticked to become the hub, not just for the regulation, but become a hub where blockchain innovation can thrive, so that our young people can begin to have a voice. And that's what my company have done in the last 2 years. We set up a hub in Ghana here just a year ago. As I speak, we have incubated 10 projects from Ghana. Combined, they've raised over $300,000 in venture capital and grants, building one of the most innovative blockchain solutions for the world. One of them is called sarcasm. As I speak, they predicted the Ghanaian election 99% accurately. It's built on blockchain. They have over 200,000 global users built from Ghana here, from our hub. So our challenge this morning is not just about cryptocurrency. It's not just about regulation. We believe that the blockchain provides Ghana and the entire continent an opportunity. And Ghana has always been a leader. Ghana is a blaster line. Ghana is the face of Africa. can we leverage our civil democracy and position Ghana, and for us
we should be able to, but I think that you guys should also be able to push enough to make sure the minister is listening to you, to make sure the Minister of Finance is taking this on. When he takes it on, it becomes a policy. Yeah. And when it is a policy, it is inculcated in the budget. And when it is, then obviously once there is a budget line, or even if there is not a budget line, there is a policy action, the government and your entirety takes it on, then we can follow you.
That's why we're doing this. Yeah. Together, we can, because advocacy is a conversation. We need to have this kind of conversation across our media space, so that there are experts, there are people that have the knowledge to help the government draft a framework, a policy direction.
It's the next point I was going to come to. Is there a framework? Are you putting together a document? Are you making sure there is anything that if Atufosin is watching us, or the governor of Bank of Ghana is watching us, and they want to get you on board or begin discussions of any sort, you will be able to say that, yes, point number 1, you're going to do this. Point number 2, you're going to do this. Is there a framework?
Yes, so plans are far advanced with regards to that. So as we mentioned,
and you may want to include regulations too, because the framework will now include how the space will be sanitized, so that people who want to get on it will feel the confidence, or will have the confidence to be able to get on it. So yes, please.
Yes, so with the framework, we have started with consultations. So with the various blockchain communities that are in Ghana, we have come together, and then under BBAG, we are setting up that framework. Then the next move is to start visiting that's the ministries, because when it comes to blockchain, it's not just applicable to, say, one ministry. That's why it's supposed to be a national agenda. So it's just like you saying the internet has come, then I'm going to the Ministry of Youth and Employment just to push a policy on that. It covers every facet of the economy. So yes, plans are far advanced on that. And then we have also started with the media outreach. We have also started with visitations, and then we plan to actually move more on that and make sure that it reaches the various corners that we want it to reach, so that we have a national policy when it comes to blockchain in Ghana.
So, Eric, let me take your mind on that. We are rounding up. Our time is actually up, but let me take your... And I'm sure if producer can give me about 3 minutes, so we run through your points, those ones that we haven't captured, the 7 pillars. But let me take your mind on the regulation, and you've spoken about security also, though.
Regulation is something that we all are very concerned about. I don't believe that there's any nation that can stay in chaos. But you cannot regulate technology when you don't have full understanding, full scope. Our approach is that regulation is super important. It creates trust. It creates people to believe in it, because at the end of the day, we have government agencies responsible to ensuring that there's consumer protection, there's safety for everybody to benefit. However, our candid position is this. As a country, before we talk of regulation, we need to institute a kind of a very friendly environment for us to learn through it whilst we are building this product, so that people can begin to appreciate, and they can now, through the knowledge and experiences, we can now be able to put up structures and framework that enable us to protect. So regulation is number 1. It's one part of it. Nobody can regulate just the internet. Internet is a free world for everybody. The part of the blockchain that can be regulated is the cryptocurrency, which I believe the central bank has done a good job in the last 2 years or 3 years, led by the fintech arm of the bank. I think they are doing a great job. They have a sandbox, which is doing so.
Have you met them yet?
Not yet.
You have to meet them.
Oh, yeah, not yet.
I mean, that's where my problem is.
Exactly.
You should be, because you are major players of the industry.
Matter of fact, one of our members is actually part of the committee
at the Bank of Ghana.
Yes, the committee.
By this time, the consultation should have gone on.
Yeah.
Either you have met them or they have met you. It should happen. That's a
it's a journey.
But let's go through your 7-pillar point. Let's see if there is anyone that we have to go into that we haven't discussed specifically. We will. You say number 1 is fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, empowering startups, researchers, and developers to build blockchain-based solutions that solve real-world challenges. So number 2 will be establishing network states and special economic zones, creating blockchain-friendly regulatory environment, tax incentives, and governance models to attract global pioneers. Tax incentives, let me stay on that point number 2, but this is fine. You want to touch on that briefly, the tax incentives?
Quickly,
and then we
yes, as government approach is to incentivize people to bring in money into the country. If an investor is bringing money, he needs to know that it's secured, it's protected, and he has leeway to
and they can actually route it through
and
the
it's
blockchain.
Job creation. The more people have jobs, the more they can pay direct incomes and other taxes to the government. So you need to provide a certain level of 10-year tax-free for people to bring in money, because you need more dollars in the country. Once people have more jobs, the economy expands and everybody benefits. The government cannot concentrate on building other infrastructure like schools.
So you say point number 3, attracting global investments and talent, making Ghana the preferred destination for blockchain innovators, digital nomads, and investors by offering regulatory clarity and financial incentives. Point number 4, ensuring consumer protection and financial stability, crafting balanced policies that protect users while promoting responsible innovation in digital assets and decentralized finance, DEFI. Point number 5 will be leveraging blockchain for development, applying blockchain to sectors as finance, agriculture. Yes, that's important for me. We are concentrating primarily on the development of our farms, mechanization of our farms, the entire value chain of our farms to the offtake. And so if we're able to get involved in some of these things so that our farmers now can easily get their monies once they get on the farms, we'll be good as a country. Number 6 is empowering youth and local communities, investing in blockchain education, digital skills training, and entrepreneurship. Do you have any alliance with the Young Entrepreneurs, Ghana Startup Network, and so on and so forth? Because they should be part of you as well.
Yeah, we actually, working in collaboration with the Ghana FinTech Association, which is, has done a great job when it comes to the FinTech space. This advocacy is not just one-day conversation. We are looking...
Obviously.
we have
to be able to follow you all the time. Yeah. We have to be able to follow you all the time. And Kwame, anytime you're organizing anything, even if it's not myself, my team, the entire Metro TV team should also be part of it. And we promise to support. Once, we can vouch for the security of it, we promise to support and make sure that you are championing a very good agenda. Point number 7, let me see the final points, the pillar. You say, driving sustainable and inclusive growth. Aligning blockchain adoption with Ghana's environmental, economic, and social sustainability goals. And I'm interested particularly in that, the sustainability of the environment, jobs and everything, climate change and everything that comes up with it. Let me give you your final words. My time is up, and not for the show. So if you are still watching us, this is the first segment. We are getting into the second segment where we have the discussion with the Minister for Jobs, Labor and Employment, Honorable Rashid Pelpo. But I will give my gentlemen here their last bite. So let me begin with you, Kwame, and then I will end with you, Eric. What should we be looking at moving forward? What's the future for blockchain and us as a country?
So the future for blockchain and for Ghana as a country, a broader stakeholder consultation, making sure that we have the various agencies coming together so that we have a national blockchain policy. And then we look at how best blockchain technology can actually solve the issue of unemployment. So I'll leave you with one thing. You remember the dancing Paul Beres during COVID time?
Yeah.
Ask yourself after COVID, where did they go? So that picture that became a meme that we all use was actually minted on the blockchain for $1.2 million. Yes, you can check the internet. And those guys, we don't see them again.
$1.2 million.
Yes, I spoke about ownership. So that meme belongs to them. They are like the bona fide owners of that meme. So they have been able to tokenize that meme with the help of someone, put it on the blockchain, and people have bought it for over $1.2 million. That's how blockchain gives you ownership and then control over your content.
And value also, money.
Exactly,
money.
Definitely. So in blockchain, we say GM, meaning not good morning, but get money. So it's a slang that we mostly use. GM, it
get
means
money.
Yeah, get money.
General manager.
No good morning.
No
get
good
money. Yeah.
Right. So Eric, let me round up with you on that as well.
Running off for us, it's a conversation. a national development starts with a simple conversation. So I'll give an example. In Sweden, the government actually pay people to be bored so they can have conversation. Can we start having conversation and be intentional? The future we are seeking to have, we cannot apply what we started from 1950 and achieve new results. To have new results, we need to be ruthless, we need to be intentional, we need to be bold, and blockchain provides us an opportunity to redefine and increase, double or triple our GDP. Today, the Ghana GDP, total GDP is about $80 billion. Airbnb, do you know Airbnb? Just 10 years ago, the founder was rejected by raising just $150,000 at $1.5 billion, $1.5 million. Today, Airbnb is $100 billion in value. That is, it is more than Ghana's economy. So technology provides an opportunity to triple our GDP. But we need to have a very sincere, honest, and open value conversation. It's not about where you belong. This country needs solution. Young people have all the skills, the talent, the drive, the energy. All they need is access.
Kwame Stalwart is the convener, Blockchain Builders Association of Ghana. Kwame, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And Eric Annan is the Chief Executive Officer, IRQ. Eric, thank you very much for joining us as well. So that does it for the first segment of the show this afternoon. I told you early on that in the running order, we have this conversation, and then coming up is the interview or the discussion with the Minister for Employment or the Minister for Jobs, Labour and Employment, Honorable Rashid Pelpo, who is also the Member of Parliament for the Wa Central constituency. We spoke about quite a number of things. You want to make time, take a seat, and enjoy the conversation.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Mommy.
Michelle, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Chocolate Toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Chocolate Toothpaste, Sankofa,
Yenchi, Kel Chocolate Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Right, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on the Business Edge on Good Afternoon Ghana. Well, this afternoon we have the privilege to be in the office of one of who I call my very own bosses. We've followed him for quite some time, for a very long period, I think from University of Ghana. And he's been in the Ghanaian political space, particularly focusing on how young people will get jobs, or maybe, let me say, the entire people who are ready, able, and looking for jobs are able to actually find jobs. His Excellency, the president, John Dramani Mahama, found him worthy once again to lead that fort. So the NDC came into government on the promise of employment creation, 1 million number of jobs in a certain number of years, and too many people relying on the fact that they will be able to get something to do at the end of the very first time of the government. And I would say it's a very sensitive area. The president feels that the man to be in charge to make sure that this happens for him and Ghanaians get job to do is the Honorable Rashid Pelpo. He is also the minister or the member of parliament for Wa Central. Today, we are in his office and we have a number of questions to ask him about how he's going to make sure that this vision and dream of the president is practicalized for the people of Ghana. We are going to ask him some issues about the youth. We'll ask him some issues about those whose appointments were revoked and how he's dealing with that and his means of creating jobs for the people of Ghana. CLOCSAG, Public Service Commission, and all of these state institutions, how he's dealing with them. And then you heard also about how he negotiated the percentage increment in salaries for workers in Ghana. And all of these issues would come up this afternoon. Let me say a very big thank you to him. And maybe good afternoon and welcome to our show, even though we are in the office. Honorable, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
We saw you at the Economic Forum, and you were wild, running around making sure things happen.
Yeah.
How has it been so far?
Well, so far so good. And it's been a commitment to change the Ghanaian political scene and the economic forum or economic character of Ghana to produce more and to share, you know, meaning those who are working to get what they deserve and all that. So it's a huge commitment by the NDC under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to restore the economic fortunes of this country and to make sure we put afoot a system that can be respected throughout the country and amongst the Committee of Nations. So we can have an economic Ghanaian, the Ghanaian youth will have confidence in, and the Ghanaian businessman will have confidence in. Ghanaian woman, business lady will have confidence in. So we can move along and change the generation yet to come.
I'd say there is quite a burden on your shoulder. I mean, looking at how sensitive your ministry is in the current space of economy that we find ourselves. You're barely 3 months in office. Even the president himself is barely 3 months, but there would still be the pressure and the calls for jobs. With your plan and vision and everything that you plan to do for the ministry and the entire country, are you on course? Is it going well?
Yeah, it's going on well. What we need to do and are doing is to make sure the economy is productive enough for people to get jobs, that we increase investment bigger enough to ensure that people are utilized, the skills of people are utilized, that we encourage more foreign investors rather than foreign loans into the country, for them to invest in critical areas to ensure that jobs are created. And so we are doing exactly that. You saw the economy, you heard the economy being read by the minister, and you know all the areas of his emphasis, and you know his determination to restore the economy to normalcy and to increase production and create more jobs. So it's a whole commitment to providing leadership that can have the effect of, you know, increasing job production in Ghana.
Honorable Minister, you mentioned the encouragement of foreign investors to come in, obviously to set up businesses, recruit more people, and expand the employment eco space. We've seen that's one of the things you are trying to do. We've seen the finance minister mention the Jumeirah, mention the National Codes Program, mention the National Apprenticeship Program. Lots of plans to create more jobs and expand the space. But are you able to outline for us your specific plans, projects, activities, or how you want to go about this whole process of creating jobs for the people of Ghana?
Well, we have specific areas we have put in our manifesto, like get a women's development bank,
yes, exactly.
give loans to women, get them to work, have youth entrepreneurship programs, support them to establish themselves by exploring their potential, training them and giving them money to go and establish themselves, ensure that there is an emphasis in setting up agricultural centers, provide machinery and other equipment to farmers, people who want to go into farming. All of that are going to increase the job output in this country. And beyond that is the fact that we have lots of skills in this country who are within the country are unable to get the kind of job that can be paying enough. We still want to provide situations where you can even go out of the country and still be able to work and earn.
Yesterday you launched the Work Abroad program.
Yes.
With the Youth Employment Agency.
Yes.
Well, let me begin from there. What's that specifically? What do you want to achieve with that? And what's the mode of operation for that program? So let's maybe begin our conversation from there.
Well, it is to take advantage of the many young people who are unemployed. By the time we took office, we have up to 15% of young people who are unemployed. If you go down to the age of 15 and beyond, the sector called youth, there are about 29% of them are unemployed.
The data goes up from the 15 to about 29.
Yes. So you see that there is a big lock of unemployment in this country. And how do we deal with it? Many Ghanaians are looking for opportunities to work somewhere. And several of them are joining trains to go through the desert and often will die on the way or are treated in a manner that is undesirable. So we are providing an opportunity for those young men who have that feeling that, look, they can work elsewhere. Rather than passing through unusual, unacceptable routes, we create an opportunity for you. We sign agreement with bilateral countries, get them to respect the young man coming from Ghana or the young lady coming from Ghana to come and work in their country, show them the kind of respect as we have put in our labor law, and then pay them adequately. And so when they get there, they are given the due respect, and then they can come back.
One important area is the domestic workers. We see videos on social media and people from Ghana are being maltreated in places where they go to work. Is this part of
I have, in my ministry, I have announced, and I'm pursuing it, that I'm not going to accept any domestic worker from Ghana. No domestic worker program. I'm not going to sign anything. I won't tolerate it. I won't grant any leave to anybody to take domestic workers to anybody's house.
Outside the country?
Outside the country.
Oh, so, but is this out? This is news to us. You have signed, or you have stated that under your ministry and under your tenure,
yes,
you are not going to allow any institution to send out anybody in the name of
domestic workers to go and stay in somebody's house. They will take your passport, they maltreat you, they give you all the worst treatment you can, anybody can ever receive. And then in the end, you come back home dejected, destroyed,
demoralized, and so on and so forth.
Your whole humanity destroyed. I mean, so that cannot be tolerated.
At all. You are not doing that at all.
At all.
So, well, some people felt that it could be maybe formalized government-to-government arrangement, and then they are monitored.
Not domestic workers, and not to the Gulf.
Right.
Where we got all the challenges I'm seeing, at least the Gulf has shown us that they can't handle domestic workers, not from Ghana. So we are not going to endorse that. I'm not going to endorse that.
That's super. That's super. But for teachers, for health workers, nurses, and so on and so forth,
yeah, we can work along those areas, allow them to go, sign contracts, like 5 years contracts, work after 5 years. If you feel like coming to Ghana, take your passport and come back to Ghana, build your house and stay, or come and set up your business, and then take control of your own life. But a situation where they go and forever they are staying there is not what we are working at.
Super.
Go and stay there. Several people don't even know how to come back because they go there illegally. They work for 5 years or so in order to get permission. After getting the permission, they now want to work because they were working at very low earning jobs, and now that they got their permission, they now want to spend another 5 years, and by the time they realize they are old there. So this time round, it is a formalized system of labor migration, international migration, an agreement signed with the countries, and I'm insisting also an agreement signed with the company sending them, that they are going to be shown the kind of respect we expect every Ghanaian to be shown, and they have a space of time to work. If they want to come back home, they come back home, and that's what we want to make sure we.
I like the fact that you use the technical terms, labor migration and so on and so forth. Some people would have thought that maybe this is just a political gimmick. You are just doing politics with the young people. You are telling us you give us the opportunity, but you are telling us you'd be able to do this.
Oh, I just launched the program yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
Lots of companies are approaching me, and I'm vetting them. I want to make sure these are companies that will not take the Ghanaian youth somewhere and he'll be found wanting. We are vetting them. We are getting them properly, understood. After which we grant them permission, and then they would take them. We insist they are trained here to understand the culture they are going to go into, and when they go there, then they will have their freedom to work and come back.
Someone would ask, would this not amount to brain drain?
But that's why I'm explaining that we have a certain number of Ghanaian youth who are unemployed. It's huge, getting up to 30%. And if we decide to keep them here for 4 years whilst looking for an economy to grow for them to get job, it is a national security problem.
Yes.
Anything can happen.
Yes,
they go do something, you imprison them, or they go do something, it costs somebody his life and all that and all that. So why don't you give them an opportunity to work and be able to come back home and set up on their own? Every country, it's not just Ghana doing it. Other countries have done it and very successfully. Ethiopia has been doing it for more than
Philippines has been doing
50 years now.
Yes.
The Philippines have been doing it for God knows how long. And their countries are being rewarded for that. I understand some of the rewards in several countries are even more than the oil products.
It's one of the things that I was going to ask you about, the revenue mobilization. We have those of us who have a relative here and there in other parts of the world who are sending monies back to the country. Is a huge part of the economy, the monies that they send back. So, I mean, I'm sure that you have captured all of these, even though it's an early call yet. You're now putting together documents, but I'm sure that either you have captured or you will capture that also for revenue mobilization into the country.
It's a key thing that emerges as a result of this whole thing, because as you try to help young people find where they can unleash their potential and be able to earn a living, it has a positive repercussion on government or on the economy. That as they earn and as they repatriate money back into this country, the country benefits.
Yes.
Yeah, and the benefits has a positive impact on the growth of the economy, and so it's a two-way affair. The personal affair in which the person benefits, and the larger one in which the whole country benefits. So we want to explore the two of them.
You're doing this with the Youth Employment Agency. It was previously under your ministry.
Yes.
And I'm sure it would have been easy for you doing this as an agency under your ministry. I mean, getting this done that easily. Now it is not under you.
No. It's under the Ministry of
Youth Development and Empowerment. Are you okay with that?
Well, that, we work as a government, and what we are doing is to reflect on what we sold to Ghanaians. Our idea was to address key issues about young people. And so we built this, we set up this ministry to do exactly that. And we set them up not because, so that we can have them perform a certain duty, and it requires a lot of investment. And this is an already existing investment where a certain amount of our call tax,
goes to them.
Goes to them.
Communication service tax.
Communication service tax, and it is substantial.
Yes.
So,
but they should be under you. The Act puts them under you. They specifically are supposed to
act?
The YE Act, the Youth Employment Agency Act.
Oh,
puts them under the Ministry.
No, I don't think.
Of Employment and Labor. So maybe it will be an executive instrument that will move them. But whichever way, they are supposed to create employment. That their core mandate, as I read, is that they are supposed to create, maybe facilitate jobs for young people in Ghana, which is directly under what you are supposed to do, or under your direction as a minister.
It is. But you see, if we say so, we will say the whole of the Youth Employment Agency should have been under the Ministry of Employment.
All the institutions that are related to creation of employment
and all that. I mean, it is, and mostly what I'm doing is also to provide the support, the policy on jobs and employment, to give the ministry that direction and to encourage investment in those areas. So it is a multi-sectorial kind of approach.
It's a question I was going to ask anyway. Your collaboration with the new ministry and all the other institutions under them. And for you, yours will be about the data at the end of the day. When we come back to you, we'll be asking you how many jobs have you been able to create as a country or as a government in the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you as a minister. And that's how come I started asking you what your plan is and what your target is. But are you able to give us data maybe by the end of this year?
Of course.
How many jobs we should expect?
I'm trying to do that. And so I'm contacting all the agencies. They would provide me with the jobs they have created so far. We also have, we are setting in motion the Ghana Labor Information Market Information System, which is a system that has all the agencies in Ghana, all the departments in Ghana, as much private sector as we are capturing, all of it input there, and all the jobs they are creating also input there. All those that are functional jobs are also in there. So you open it, you open to any department, you see the job opportunities there, and you see the number of jobs that are already occupied. Now, this is going to capture the totality of our market, our labor market, and will enable a student who has just finished school
be able to determine whichever area. So
in the end, we can then, with just a stroke of a keyboard, be able to find out how many jobs are available, how many jobs are occupied, and all that and all that. So we are working on that.
But before that, can you tell us your projection? How many jobs you expect to create by the end of the year?
I'm not going to, I can't have that projection right now, but I hope that it's not going to be small. We're going to have a huge number of jobs being created. And if you ask me this by the middle of the year, I'll be able to tell you. The reason being that we are putting in place systems.
Yes, like you mentioned.
When they are functional, then the jobs roll in. And some of them are not pinpointed areas, you say 5 jobs here, 10 jobs here. These are areas where, as a result of the input of a particular system, is going to open up for jobs to be created. So by the end of the year, within the middle of the year, we would have been able to guess the number of jobs that would be created at the end of the year.
Let me move into the informal sector. One of the biggest problems we have as a country is the informal sector. Being able to get the data on them, being able to, even their taxes, and all of the issues. You have a specific agenda for the informal sector. We see or we hear most of the times politicians talk about the training of artisans, the formalization of the informal sector, and so on and so forth. Is there a specific plan for them?
There is. The informal sector is the one that moves the economy the most. They are very, very strategic to the economy. And these are people who are very creative, who are imaginative, who are capable of moving society towards achieving a certain objective. And as a result, earning money out of it. You know, so they create value by just thinking and investing. So that informal sector is the one that we are looking at to do much of the job creation, provide support for them. Some of them want security, simple. Others want money. Others want personnel to increase their output. So if you are able to create all this, they can function. So we are looking at all that. We are looking at how to provide funding for them so that they can, you know, those who want to come into the sector can do so and be able to produce. And we also are looking at the possibility of giving them pension, providing them with what we call private pension, where you can contribute and be able to earn something at the end of your working life. Or if at a certain point in your life where you would have saved enough to be comfortable that when you exit out of the job, you will not be in, your life will not be in ruins. So we are working very closely to make the informal sector more productive and make them more comfortable in doing what they are doing.
Is there any specific agenda for the agric sector as well? There is the entire agricultural value chain from the farming to its transportation, to its mechanization, to its processing, to off-taking and all of the things that come with agric. But if you look at the country's projections over the years, our GDP and our statistics is gradually moving away from an agri-based economy or agri-support-based economy now to the oil. Well, the oil cannot support us entirely. We are almost leaving agric. Galamsey is killing our cocoa and so on and so forth. Do you have any specific plan towards that?
The plan is already obvious. A whole ministry concerned with agribusiness. Agribusiness.
Agribusiness.
Yes. Where agricultural products will be transformed from one point to the other and made much more attractive and will earn more. So there's a huge enterprise on that. We know that a huge number of the Ghanaian, our Ghanaian folk are in agriculture. It forms about 55% of our input. So, and so we have taken note of that, and there's a lot of emphasis on it. You've also heard us talking about setting up agriculture mechanized centers. So where we can provide the equipment and provide the farm inputs and allow people who are interested to go in and be able to have easy access to these inputs and produce more. So these are areas that we are having a deep insight in it, because we know that it is going to have a direct impact on the
jobs that will be created within the sector. And I was going to ask about Galamsey as well, even though that's under the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. I'm sure you still should be interested, because each sector of the economy, I have always said that employment is the backbone of the economy. Whatever happens anywhere, you are there, because there is one job, two jobs being created in that part of the economy. Galamsey as well, what you are interested in?
Galamsey is, the fact that we call it Galamsey, which is equal to illegal business, illegal mining, is the worry. Otherwise, private mining that enables us to produce more gold, there's nothing wrong with it. But in doing so, with people who even take legitimate licenses to operate, they still go to mine illegally. You can be given a concession, and you can be allowed to mine in the area. But where you go to mine in and wash in the river, destroy the land, cut the cocoa trees, do all the bad things that you are supposed not to have been doing, then you are engaged in an illegal mining, even though you have a legal certificate. So generally, we are not against the fact that people want to mine. I like to see Ghanaian businessmen going into mining rather than these foreigners who come take the thing away. But I want the Ghanaian businessman to know that this is my country.
Yes.
Once I mine, I have to protect it.
And reclaim the land.
And
also.
reclaim the land, you know, to make sure a next generation will come and will not be found wanting. You know, so why, ask yourself, why is it that the big countries like the United States are not destroying their country and allowing, and then all of a sudden, you know, I mean, and they think that it is us who have to do it. They have more timber than Ghana, but they are not cutting their trees. Germany has more timber than Ghana. They are not cutting the trees. Why are they not cutting their trees? Because they care about the future of the country. You see, the earth and what it produces defines all life. Once you take away what makes up the earth, life becomes a problem. The meaning of life then becomes a big issue to be defined. So, if you are unaware that your life is directly linked with the product of the earth, you destroy the earth, you destroy yourself. But that's what we are not aware of. Our businessmen don't think that the river has anything to do with our lives. They just destroy it. They don't think that the cocoa, which has been provided the economic stay of this country for years, long before independence and after independence, they don't think it is necessary because they want to find gold. So the mental attitude of business towards the environment must be questioned and must be rearranged in such a manner as we can show responsibility once we produce.
Right.
If we do so, then Galamsey will be fine. We can allow them, we won't even call it Galamsey anymore.
We'll just say small-scale mining.
Small-scale mining, you know. And there will be, because right now as I'm talking to you, the biggest impact on our economy is on mining.
Right.
Yeah. It's the biggest. It has overtaken oil. It has overtaken cocoa. It's now Galamsey. It's now mining. And if mining is properly cultured, then we can earn a lot.
If you're just watching us, we're having an interview with the Venerable Dr. Rashid Pelpu, Member of Parliament for Wa Central. And he's also the Minister for Labor, Jobs and Employment here in Ghana. And we are having a very insightful conversation this afternoon. This is Business Edge on Good Afternoon Ghana. This is where you want to be when you want to hear about business or employment or about aviation, transport, anything in the world of business. Stay with us, we'll be right. This is
hugely. So you look at the analysis, look at the inflation. Inflation has not increased substantially. It is even on a reduction spree. In the past, it used to go so high. Imagine inflation going from 20% to 54%. And then the workers will ask for more. You can't explain. So what do you want them to do if you can't explain? Give them 30% or 20%.
So the increment is juxtaposed to these standards, inflation rates, the exchange rates, and the living conditions, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and all those things. So you look at all this, and then you do your calculations, and they will get to understand. But even so, the magic was also done by the president. His I don't know, his humble approach to it. I called the president and I said, through the Minister of Finance, I said, look, let's get a president. And then whilst I sit there, he went to call the president and said, look, the minister wants you to come at this time because we're in a critical
Very
moment.
strategic.
Come and help, let's negotiate. He just took his car and came. He said, no security. When he said he was coming, security people came there. He sat in his office and heard that. He said nobody should be there. They should clear the place. They cleared the place. He just drove in there, sat in the meeting, and then he supported a 10% increase. The workers, well, in respect to him, Excellency coming to negotiate
himself.
No, they said, well, the minister had already told us, so we have come to understand that we are in a difficult period in our economy. Apart from all this, I said the economy was still crawling, and they decided to agree with us.
So, is there any anticipation of an increment maybe at the next tripartite meeting? You've asked them to tighten their belts. They've agreed to tighten their belts. Moving forward, what do you see, and by what percentage?
And why do we tell them to tighten our belts, and when we are not? And we are also tightening our belts.
Yes.
We are also tightening our belts. The president reduced the number of ministers.
He promised a lean government, 60 ministers. He's done that.
Remember when the last executive, they had more than 1,000 people at the Flagstaff House, presidential staffers, more than 1,000. The president is keeping like 43 now. Can you imagine that? Just a small number, you know. And he's taking key steps to make sure we have tightened our belts. We are moving into an austerity measure to make sure we don't spend too much. He has decided not to buy vehicles for ministers. Use your car. If you are a member of parliament and you have a car, use it. That's what he authorized. No purchase of vehicles. Let's make sure we demonstrate to the worker in Ghana we are concerned and that we are working towards a situation where we can all have it. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and then you can run away. Robert, what's happening with CLOSAC? Are they coming back to work? You had a meeting with them.
Yeah. Yes. 2 days ago, I had a meeting with CLOSAC. That was the second meeting I held with them, and I have appealed to them to give up their strike. They have listened to me. They told me they will get back to me.
Are you sure they are going to give it up?
Hopefully they
will. Are they returning to work when?
I told you, this Ghanaian worker, they are very, very understanding, very objective when you tell them the truth. And they have a key reason to go on strike, which is that they feel that the president cannot appoint somebody who has a political color into civil service.
Yes.
But it will require a lot of talking. But the Constitution, knowing that, still gave power to the president to appoint.
Yes.
The president himself is a political color. And you say appoint somebody. Now, God,
obviously.
How do we describe God? We said that God has some features, and he created a human being with those features.
Yes.
Then you have a political person, and you say appoint somebody
in his own image.
So, but if you say, look, with all this, you still say that the president shouldn't do it.
Yes.
And we can begin talking about it. And we found in the Constitution that the president says, the Constitution says, president, do this, without telling the president not to do this. Now, the opportunity is to go to the Supreme Court to verify it. They said, yeah, they have gone to the Supreme Court. And I tell them, yes, that's true. You went to the Supreme Court. What did the Supreme Court say? He said that the Supreme Court says that if you are a worker, a civil service worker, you don't have to show political colors. They showed examples of Jeula and other people who showed political colors. And I said, yeah, that's true. Did the Constitution and with that law, did the Supreme Court say that the president should not appoint anybody with that? No. But it says that when you are appointed there, you don't show it. So not when the president is about to appoint.
When you are appointed.
And you are
so
in
it's
office.
A matter of before and then after.
And I told them this controversy will still have to be settled. So whilst it's still not settled, let's sit down and talk. The president says he will listen to you. It's a person who wants to create an opportunity for everybody to strive in this country. So he will listen and give me space. Let's continue talking and until we get to a point when we can both be happy that a certain decision is taken. So they have listened to me. I got them to write a petition. I replied to their petition. I have written a second letter to them. I went ahead and organized a meeting. I've organized another meeting, and there's yet another meeting to come. And that is going to be communicated to them. It's very important for me. This last meeting is very important for me. But I hope before that last meeting,
they should get
strike
work.
Would have
gotten. Or they will.
Yeah.
They will.
I mean, but just imagine you are out of work for 2 weeks. The national cake, which we are all building to share, is going down. How do we ask for more when at the end of the year there's such a big gap in our inputs to build the cake?
I agree.
Yeah.
Honorable,
yes.
Thank you very much. There is hope for the Ghanaian worker.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of hope.
There is hope for the Ghanaian worker.
Yes. As the economy thrives, there's huge hope for the Ghanaian worker.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank
so
you.
That's the Honorable Minister for Jobs, Labour and Employment. He's also the Member of Parliament for Wa Central. He's allowed us into his office this afternoon to be on Business Edge on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Kwesi Free. It's been nice hosting the minister in his office, and remember that we would always follow him, we would always be with him, and we'll be reporting to you the progress as he makes, maybe every quarter or every period that we require to bring you updates of what's happening here at the Ministry of Jobs, Labour and Employment. Thank you very much.
Thank you
once again, Honorable, for allowing us in. We appreciate your time, and we understand the pressure also on you from lots of people who want to have your attention. So, thank you very much for watching. This is Metro TV. Good afternoon.